Many of my clients initially come to me to help them learn how to create attraction with women. And I have a very specific, very successful system that I use to help them get great results. Now, some of these clients are single. They want to learn how to get a woman on a date, back to his place, perhaps something a little more. And some of these men are married and they never quite learned how to reliably trigger attraction with the woman that they've been with for years. And what's interesting is it actually makes no difference if the guy is single or in a relationship, because the same system works exactly the same way in both situations. So imagine this. I had a client tell me that he was out on what he thought was a first date with a woman, though later turns out she thought it was just a friendly get-together. Anyway, when he goes in for the kiss, she actually busted out laughing at him. She laughed in his face. Now, thankfully, that is a pretty uncommon outcome for men. But it happened to this particular guy more than once. Now, it doesn't happen to him anymore. It won't ever happen to him again. Now, when he goes for it with any woman, something very different happens. But when a woman turns you away, it always sucks. Anyway, returning to my client, why would a woman laugh in your face in any of these situations? I mean, what's funny about it? It seems cruel. And yet, I've experienced this myself when I was a teenager. Many of my clients have experienced it. And many of my readers have written in to tell me that they've experienced it as well. So before I get into the simple practice that turned this around for my client, for many other men, I think we got to dig into what's going on here. So, the laugh, what's going on here? And if you start with the question, how could a woman be so evil and insensitive? Turns out you find no answers that are helpful. But if you start out with the question, what could the guy have possibly done that she didn't just decline, but laughed? Well, then you get a very different set of answers. And it turns out if you dig deeply enough into the true nature of the human mind, you get powerful answers. So, not going to just lead you on here. Here's the big insight. To a huge degree, humans respond to you the way you expect them to respond to you. It's called projection. And Sigmund Freud figured this out back in the 19th century, and you've observed it yourself in many times in many different situations. If somebody admires and respects you, it's very hard to not enjoy having them around. And, when they show up, you feel like a better version of yourself. If you think somebody is cheating or lying, you'll notice that they absolutely begin to behave defensively. And when the sales guy is trying to rush you into buying, you hesitate to buy at all, exactly as he was afraid you would, which is why he was rushing it. Okay, that's projection. Now, I'm not going to dig too deep into the specifics generally because it's different for different men in different situations, but let's look at this specific guy that I'm talking about. He had some stuff in his childhood, stuff that's pretty common for most men, that made him think that his sexual desire was yucky or gross or bad or something to be hidden from the girls all the way back from when he was just a little boy. Sounds familiar, right? So even though as an adult, we know that adult heterosexual women like men, they want men. This seed from early childhood, it makes noise in his brain whenever he's trying to move things forward with a woman. And there's this small part of him that's certain that she's going to be grossed out when she finds out, the kind of things he wants to do with her. And because of projection, something deep in her childhood memory wakes up too. And she remembers thinking about how when she was a little girl, boys are yucky. And suddenly it does feel yucky. And this triggers that crazy nervous laugh, like she's 8 years old again. And this is complicated for her because she also feels shame at feeling like a little girl with this guy. She feels shame about laughing, which might trigger anger and a flash right behind the laughter, because she hates being made to feel this way. And she has no idea why or how it happened. And the whacked out, completely messed up thing is that this can play out even between a husband and wife who've known each other for years. Now, there's a learnable way to flip the switch inside of a man so that when they have romantic intention towards a woman, the exact opposite happens. They're projecting something differently. Now look, of course, ultimately her answer might still be, no thanks, not tonight, for whatever reason, legit or otherwise. But instead of feeling those bad emotions come up, she feels that little shiver of possibility, of natural instinct that makes her feel feminine and good. She likes it. She likes being desired. And she smiles coyly at the understanding, the mutual understanding of human desire. And then maybe she returns to her friends at the bar, or, if she's your girlfriend, she nuzzles into your chest and says, maybe another night, she's tired, or it's that time of the month. But the point is, she feels good about it. Learning how to be the man who consistently gets the good reaction, whose desire is always welcome and enjoyed by the women of the world, is a complete game changer for your confidence, for your self-esteem, for your happiness, and for your results. Of course, as a side effect, you're also going to get a lot more physical intimacy in your life. And just as Freud demonstrated more than 100 years ago, women pick up on this difference instantly, accurately, and eagerly. Now, you might be asking yourself why every guy doesn't just go ahead and flip this little power switch inside of himself, and there are a lot of reasons. And the first is that we have a lot of pre-wired psychological obstacles that prevent us from even trying to work on this aspect of ourselves. That's why I created a guide to overcoming the most common of these obstacles using real case studies as examples. And you can download it for free in PDF form from the link here on the video or in the comments below. It's good. And so if you're ready to take on those challenges so that you can have the kind of fun, easy, juicy responses that you crave from women, that are fun to have, and that frankly women would love to be able to have with more decent men like you, then you should consider grabbing my new program, The Power Switch, that contains specifically designed insights and exercises to automatically install a new operating system into your brain. If you've ever been laughed at or just, felt embarrassed by a woman who rejected you in the past, and you're angry with women, and you think women are hostile towards men, brother, you're not alone. A lot of men think that, but they're wrong. Women aren't hostile. They're disappointed. And I hope that you'll just take a chance on the idea that maybe women will do better by us if we learn to do better by them.